Experts say Conor McGregor will knock out Dustin Poirier first round. I'm gonna go over every advantage Conor has over Dustin, why he has no possible chance, and how this is gonna be another huge win for Conor McGregor. I'm gonna break it all down for you today.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. Let's get right into the video.
It has just escalated throughout the week. We're about to hit the climax. Oh, he heard him.
1 year of training for Conor is a lifetime. He's gonna be a force we've never seen before. One of the strongest of reasons to believe that Conor McGregor is going to go and pull off this fight in terms of beating Dustin is that it's been a year since his triumphant return to the UFC.
Dustin thinks it's all talk, but when he wakes up with his nose plastered on the other side of his face, he's gonna know it's not all talk.
Do you recall that he took some time off to refocus and do things like that mega fight against Floyd Mayweather?
Immediately going on the attack.
In which he did better than many experts predicted despite losing. Then when he returned on January 18th, 2020 to the Octagon, not only did he beat Donald Cerrone, he beat him in 40 seconds and didn't even need to go and push himself that hard.
Proof to those with a fighting spirit. Cerrone in blue, Conor McGregor with a couple early shoulder strikes is in green.
He basically won with a shoulder hit to the face.
It might be from the shoulder. Yes.
And Cerrone crumbled after that. But despite the overwhelmingly decisive victory, McGregor was furious as to what happened next, because his return was cut short due to the global pandemic, something no one thought at the time would shut down the US, let alone the world.
Eliminating McGregor's hopes for a multi-fight calendar year.
He was so mad at being stuck at home that he retired for yet another time. However, he obviously came back,
essentially calling it quits. Hey guys, I've decided to retire from fighting. Boom!
I don't buy it for a second. I think Conor McGregor's trying to get you to talk about him, and you just did. What better way to get people to talk about him?
And now everything is set up for him to unload his frustrations and get a chance at the UFC lightweight title that he hasn't had in a few years. There are some who would say that McGregor being angry and overly aggressive would be harmful in the long run, but for a man like this, that's just motivation for him to push harder, be stronger, and to not leave any doubt.
This guy TKOs people. When I knock people out, they don't move. They're not. Who the is that guy? Who the is that?
And when Conor McGregor has that much motivation, it's hard to see someone or anyone beating him. You can clearly see he's in the best shape of his life. One of the things that makes Conor McGregor so great in the eyes of the sport and its fans is that he always seems ready for a fight, even when it's months away. But he has paid the price for being lax, including his definitive loss to Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov on October 6th, 2018. Which also happened to be his last fight in the lightweight level, so he hasn't fought in this current weight for over 2 years. McGregor would later admit that he was undisciplined going into the fight with the Eagle, but he's not going to make that mistake for Poirier, because not only is he working hard, he hired a special nutritionist named Tristan Kennedy to go and help him be in the best shape ever.
McGregor is primed for a return, and now prepares with a select group at an isolated enclave in southern Europe.
And Kennedy is pushing to make that happen, even if it consumes all his time. It entails 7 days a week work. Kennedy told ESPN of his duties with McGregor, but it entails daily nutrition plans, supplementation guides, cooking, being at all his training sessions, observing, taking data. The more data you take, the better. If I need to cook, I need to cook. We're obviously constantly in contact as well. The better you know your athletes, the better results you can give them, and the better program you can give them.
He has a team around him that are so good. Right, but remember, Conor put that team around him. He picks his own shots, he picks his own sessions to make sure that he's ready.
And that's what you see when you see his body composition and his performance in training. He's just one of the many people on Conor's team that are aiming to get him in shape and perfectly prepared for everything Dustin Poirier can throw at him. In fact, Kennedy was actually a little sad that McGregor's last fight with Cerrone lasted only 40 seconds, as that wasn't a good indication as to whether their training worked. But that's what happens when you work with a monster battler like McGregor.
Boom! And again, he sets it up.
Beautiful kick there from Conor McGregor.
Just phenomenal performance.
And Kennedy can confirm that McGregor's focus is solely on this fight and getting ready for it. He's in great shape. Consistency breeds success in nutrition. When he focuses on something and gets down to it, he's the most consistent man there is. On top of that, you have this hard work ethic. I can guide the man, but I can't eat the food for him. It's up to him to do all that. And that's what he does in abundance. He stays consistent to it. It's that hard work and that professionalism. And then you'll see the results. Like on social media, the kind of conditioning he's in. You can see with your eye, but a lot of athletes, they look well, but it's the performance that really matters. That's where I take great pride when I see all these fantastic results we're seeing and how he's performing.
Everything is measured and, you know, the results are shown.
So despite all the frustrations that McGregor has had in 2020, he's making sure that 2021 goes his way, and that kind of focus spells doom for Dustin Poirier in many facets. The excitement nature of fighting and calm style others just can't compare to. There are various hallmarks of Conor McGregor that people know about, but one of the biggest ones is that he's the loudest and biggest trash-talking fighter out there. The UFC doesn't need to hype his fights, he does it for them, but in both his 2020 fights and this upcoming one, the hype machine is set to a different tune.
Joining McGregor for UFC 257 training camp are staples of his fast conditioning program: Colin Byrne and Dr. Julian Dalby.
One ESPN interview noted that when he went to talk to McGregor, it wasn't what he expected. What I got was a relaxed McGregor, a slouched McGregor, void of his familiar perfect posture. He was wearing a new custom suit with slippers. His kids were running around, his fiance nearby. He was happy to be back, excited about the training camp that appears to have him in great shape. And most surprisingly, he wasn't irritated at all. That's right, 2020 had done a lot of things to McGregor's mindset. And so the current McGregor is one that isn't just focused and ready for battle, but one who's grateful for this new opportunity and is ready to prove himself once again. I had a great 2020. I had a great performance, McGregor said. I opened the show, highest pay-per-view, highest gate, fastest main event knockout, and an extravagant blockbuster event that set the UFC off on a trailblazing run, and I'm very happy about that. Very proud of that. As you said, I was satisfied, but not overly satisfied. I was ready to continue, and it didn't go that way. I still have that inside of me. I'm still ready to go. I've kept up my preparations, and I'm back, and I'm very happy to be back in 2021. We're gonna replicate this. I'm starting the year, first pay-per-view of the year, and I'm really excited about that.
I think he's a good fighter. He's even a great fighter, you know, but great is still levels below me.
Why does all of this matter? Because that means that Conor isn't going to waste the opportunity presented to him. He has big goals, big dreams for this year, including getting a certain title belt back, and he's back on track to make it happen, especially since a certain boss of his is back in his corner. Dana White wouldn't let Conor lose in fear of losing his biggest stay, setting up this fight in particular, knowing if Conor wins, the whole UFC brand wins as well. Setting up this fight in particular, knowing if Conor wins, the whole UFC brand wins as well. Kind of a conspiracy that none will tell you and isn't proven, but at the end of the day, business is business. They won't make him go into a losing fight. That's just the hard truth. Dana White and Conor McGregor don't have the easiest of relationships, mainly because Dana is a businessman who wants the UFC to be as big as possible, and he knows Conor is the way to get that to happen. But Conor is, most of the time, very volatile, very unpredictable. Conor has not made Dana's life easily, especially after retiring multiple times, despite being the face of the brand for years and an instant draw. These two butted heads a lot in the last few years, but Conor, with his new mental attitude, says they're very much good now. We were at loggerheads, probably the most we've ever been in 2020, McGregor said. I felt some things were wrong that were done towards me. I did some things wrong for sure. We got it off our chest and we're back to where we're at, and I'm pretty happy with that. I've got a lot of admiration for Dana. What he'd done in 2020 against all odds was quite admirable, and you know, I would have loved to have been a part of it more, but I'm happy that I started the year. We came through and we're in a great place now. So in his mind, he honestly owes Dana for all that he's done in the past, and for Dana continually allowing him to come back. He's gonna want to beat Poirier and make it something that will elevate the UFC. Dana White wants Conor versus the Eagle too, and a loss for Conor will not bring as much hype. But it's not just Conor who wants to benefit from their relationship. With Dana and him now on good terms, Dana is already looking at the future of his star, so much so that he wants Conor to go and get his rematch against the Eagle.
Version that we see now, I mean, you've seen in the past when Conor is in this state of mind, it's always fun.
The two met for the title in October 2018, and Khabib won via submission in the 4th round. In late 2020, the Eagle won his 30th match and then retired from MMA, but Dana thinks he can get that rematch to happen if things go the right way. As a promoter, you always want to see the best guys in the world, but at the same time, when a guy wants to retire, he probably should, White said. The difference with a guy like Khabib is he's been through so much, and losing his dad was a major blow to him. Yet, his dad wanted him to hit 30-0. No matter what you think of Conor personally, Conor McGregor is not only one of the best in the world, but one of the best to ever do it. And right now, he's as focused as he's ever been. I don't know if this is going to be the same Conor after the Poirier fights, but if this Conor sticks around for the next year, how do you not do Khabib versus Conor again? It would be a draw. And if Dana hints it could happen, McGregor could have even more motivation for winning and continuing to win. But the biggest motivation is the simplest one of all. The title will belong to Conor, and here's why. Khabib the Eagle was the UFC lightweight champion when he retired, meaning that currently there is no person holding that belt. There were rumors that McGregor versus Poirier 2 would be for the title, but that never happened, which means that whoever wins this fight will easily be in that title match for the title, regardless of who the opponent is. For McGregor, the ultimate motivation for his return to UFC was to be the champion again. He wanted to reassert his dominance and prove that he is the best in the world at what he does, which many already think he is, especially given the shape he's in. If this is a serious chance that he will get to a title shot after this, McGregor will go all out, and he will want to make sure there's no doubt he should be in that title match. He's already beaten Poirier before, and that is good, but with a title up for grabs in the future, McGregor is going to make sure history repeats itself no matter what. And there you have it, a look at McGregor versus Poirier 2 and how this is likely going to be McGregor's night once again.